We'll pay some attention to how Virgil thought about myth in the class. When we turn to Virgil, we have naturally good evidence for certain kinds of ways he understood how myth worked. We know, for example, that Virgil has a linkage to his large tradition of interpretation of Homer. We'll see that when we get to the strange mystical events that Virgil will typically provide us with the unnecessary kinds of causations for those types of events. For example, the falling in love scene we'll see in the closing of Book 1 that Venus decided to weaken Dido by making her fall in love with Aeneas is the point where the arts of love are actually used for terrible things. It's something that can undo a person. It definitely happens to Dido. Venus then comes in and has Dido fall desperately in love with Aeneas. In order to do so, she uses her son, Amor, who we'll know in the future to be known as Cupid. Specifically, as Virgil turns the story of how Venus reshapes Amor into the shapes of the actual. Now you get the act of that Virgil talks about a divine intervention having a woman fall desperately in love with a man. This next part is called the puppy effect. It isn't a universal law, it isn't always correct, but it's something that states that if you're attracted to somebody, then it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a dog around them. The puppy would melt the heart of a person that noticed it. Then maybe that person who views the puppy owner in the same way that they view the puppy. Similar to the way Virgil tells the story of Ascanius being the object that makes Dido turn from just admiring to falling deeply in love with him. The puppy effect was kind of used through Dido by making the young infant. Later on, Aeneas has a dream about the household gods telling him that it is important he leaves Crete. Since there was a plague, he had to move somewhere else. Virgil makes the gods in the form of humans exciting. It is in the form of a dream. The dream just explains to Aeneas that he has no choice but to leave Crete. There is an unnecessary set of causes that is given for all this action. Some is more mystical than the other types of Virgilian moves. The connection between the gods and what they say is slightly changed in Virgil's story. Zeus is a little bit different from Jupiter as to him getting his hands dirty, and he's willing to threaten people.